everybody, meteorologist Brittany Trumpy here. I have another book review for you guys this week. I am talking about The Maidens by Alex Michaelides? Michaelides? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that last name. This is the same author who wrote The Silent Patient, and I actually didn't know that until I was maybe halfway through this book, and there was a very small reference to the plot in Silent Patients. Basically, the one character says something along the lines of, oh, isn't that hospital that artist who refuses to speak who killed her husband is at? And I was like, wait a second. Isn't that like Silent Patients? And then I was like, well, that's because it's the same author. So that was a fun little nod. Also, at the end of the book, there's one other quick little mention of the character in Silent Patient. That being said, you don't have to read one to read the other. There is not any major plot points. I think one of the characters in this book is in that book, but again, they're also sort of secondary characters. So if you did not read Silent Patient, which was great, and I would recommend it, you can still read this without having to read one or the other. I think it was just more the author being very proud of their first work and wanting to kind of mention it. So either way, talking about The Maidens, it's kind of a dark academia. It takes place at Oxford for the bulk of the book. The main character went to Oxford many years ago, not many years ago, but a few years ago, met her husband there, and now her niece is there, and there's been a string of murders, and it's very interesting the way that the book kind of bobs and weaves between who you think might be causing the murders. There's also a couple of journal entries throughout the book that are written by who you assume the murderer is, but you don't know who it is based off of if it's a boy, if it's a girl. I think you do realize at some point that it is a man. But one of the things that kind of bothered me about this book was at the end, it's sort of implied who wrote those journal entries, but not necessarily outright explained. So I actually had to go back and look it up after I read the book, and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. That I can see how it was that person and how I just kind of missed that subtle little nod of the last two pages being in a certain location, and they got it from so-and-so, so therefore so-and-so wrote it. But it was a good book. It was entertaining. Definitely had a lot going on. I liked the atmosphere of it. Again, it was very back and forth between very easy, going kind of college stuff and more dark academia based. So it was very good. I enjoyed the book. If you want to go ahead and pick it up and give it a read, I would recommend it. Up next, I am reading A Resistance of Witches. I just started it. I'm only 20-30 pages in, but I am excited for this one. It's kind of a combination of historical fiction. It takes place during World War II, but it also has some kind of witchy vibes in it, so I'm excited to get into that. If you have read either A Resistance of Witches or The Maidens, let me know your thoughts and feelings, and I will see you guys next weekend.